Most of what you actually think and do, it comes from a part of your mind you don't even have conscious access to. It's pretty wild to think about. So today, we're going to peel back the curtain on that hidden machinery. We'll be using a really powerful idea from Daniel Kahneman's amazing book, Thinking Fast and Slow. And we're going to start things off with the test.
All right, to get started, let's try a really simple puzzle. Now, the key here is not to overthink it. Seriously, just go with the very first answer that pops into your head. Because that first answer, well, it reveals this fascinating little glitch in how all of our minds process information.
Okay, you ready? Here it is. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So, how much does the ball cost? Go on, what's that first number that just jumped into your mind?
So, did the number 10 cents just pop into your head? If it did, hey, you're in very good company. I'm talking students at Harvard, MIT, and Princeton. More than half of them give that same intuitive and, well, incorrect answer. There's just something about that number our brains are immediately drawn to.
Okay, the correct answer is actually 5 cents. Let's just walk it back for a second. If the ball is 5 cents and the bat costs $1 more than that, the bat is $1.05. Add those together and you get the total, $1.10. So the real question here isn't really about the math, is it? It's about what just happened inside your brain. Why does an answer that feels so right, so intuitive, turn out to be so wrong? And why was it so easy for our minds to completely miss it? Well, this little glitch, this is our way into a much, much bigger story about how we all think.
So to understand that glitch, Daniel Kahneman asks us to think about our mental life as a story with two main characters. Now, I should be clear, these aren't actual physical parts of your brain. It's better to think of them as two agents, two personalities, living in your mind. He calls them System 1 and System 2.
Okay, so let's meet them. System 1 is the fast one. It works automatically, totally effortlessly. This is your gut reaction, right? Your intuition. System 2, on the other hand, is the slow one. It's deliberate, it's analytical, and it takes real conscious effort. Think about when you're trying to solve a tricky math problem. That's System 2 kicking into gear.
And here's where it gets really interesting, the power dynamic between them. See, most of us, we identify with our conscious, reasoning System 2. We think, yeah, that's me. I'm the one in charge. But, as Kahneman puts it, the automatic System 1 is the real hero of the book. It's the secret author of so many of the choices and judgments you make every single day.
Okay, so that brings up a huge question. If we have this powerful, analytical System 2, how in the world did it let us get the bat and ball problem wrong? Well, the answer is all about that power dynamic we just talked about and what you could call a key personality flaw of System 2.
So here's how the work is usually divided up. System 1 is just constantly generating these quick suggestions, these impressions, intuitions, feelings. Things like, the ball is 10 cents. It then passes that suggestion up to System 2 for a quick review. But here's the thing about System 2. It's fundamentally lazy. It loves to follow the path of least resistance. So if an answer feels plausible enough, System 2 often just gives it a rubber stamp. It just endorses it, without doing the hard work of actually checking it.
And to be fair, most of the time this division of labor is incredibly efficient. It's what lets us get through the day without getting totally bogged down, second-guessing every tiny little thing. But, and this is a big but, System 2's laziness creates a major vulnerability. It is the exact reason why that intuitive, but totally wrong 10-cent answer slips right past our defenses.
And believe me, this isn't just about silly brain teasers. The real-world consequences are, well, they're staggering. Take a look at this. A famous study of Israeli parole judges found an absolutely shocking pattern. Right after a food break, when they were refreshed, their approval rates for parole were around 65%. But as the day wore on, as they got more tired and more hungry, that rate plummeted all the way down to nearly zero. Their mentally depleted System 2s just fell back on the easiest default decision, denied.
So these predictable mistakes that we make, they're not just about puzzles or being tired. They're actually a fundamental feature of how our minds are wired. And Kahneman has the perfect name for them. He calls them cognitive illusions.
This image on your screen is the perfect analogy. It's the famous Mueller-Lyer illusion. Now, if you were to take a ruler to those two horizontal lines, your analytical System 2 would know, for a fact, that they are the exact same length. But you can't stop your intuitive System 1 from seeing the bottom line is longer. Go ahead, try. You can't.
It's an illusion you just can't switch off.
And that's exactly how cognitive illusions work in our thinking. They are systematic, predictable errors. That bat and ball problem from the beginning, that's a perfect cognitive illusion. Because even after you know the right answer is 5 cents, there's a part of you, your intuition, that still wants to scream, but it looks like 10 cents.
And here's the crucial thing to understand. These errors are not a sign of being unintelligent. Not at all. They are just a feature of our mental hardware. As Kahneman explains it, you can't just turn System 1 off. It's always on, 24/7, constantly generating these impressions and intuitions, whether you want it to or not.
So you might be thinking, okay, if we can't just switch this thing off, what's the point of even knowing about it? Well, the goal isn't to somehow become a perfectly rational robot. No, it's something much more practical.
What Kahneman really wants is to give us a better vocabulary, a language to talk about thinking itself. By giving us these simple labels, like System 1 thinking or that's a cognitive illusion, he's giving us the tools to identify and discuss these patterns. And let's be honest, it's always easier to spot someone else's System 1 mistake. But having the language for it is the absolute first step to maybe, just maybe, catching it in ourselves.
So let's wrap this up. The big takeaway is this. Your mind has two systems. You've got the fast, intuitive System 1 and the slow, but pretty lazy System 2. Most of the time, System 1 is running the show, and while that's efficient, it can lead to these predictable errors we call cognitive illusions. The real power of understanding this is just having a new way to recognize and maybe question your own intuitions, especially when it really matters.
So I'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. Now that you've been properly introduced to these two characters living in your mind, the impulsive, fast-thinking hero and the lazy, deliberate controller, ask yourself this: who's really in charge?